Thank you very much, Chairman Jordan, Ranking Member Raskin, distinguished members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to share the panel today with fellow Irishman, Graham Lenihan. I'm not a comedy writer, so I won't make a joke about two Irishmen who walk into Congress. Of course, I might be arrested on returning to London, as you do experience, Graham. I'm also delighted to share it with our client, Päivi Räsänen, who will speak in due course about her ordeal in Finland. On the last occasion that we spoke, ladies and gentlemen, on this subject, we had a discussion on the censorship potential of the EU's Digital Services Act, and at that point we were speaking in the theoretical. It may cause censorship, it has the potential to affect Americans and so on, and many were not convinced. However, now it's unmistakable that it has indeed caused the censorship that we warned of. We have moved from theory to practice. There can be no doubt that the European Digital Services Act is the tip of a massive censorship industrial complex. The enormous fines levied on X Corporation by the European Commission since the last hearing has proved beyond all doubt that the European Union means to strangle free speech by a systemic assault on US companies. The EU has a multi-pronged strategy to open multiple investigations, to add more and more regulations, and to impose crippling fines, and ultimately, I fear, to attempt to break up or ban companies such as X who are pro-free speech. But it goes deeper. This censorship campaign is not just aimed at destroying free speech in Europe, it's about imposing European laws globally. Make no mistake that Europe's draconian speech laws are being imposed on your citizens via global content moderation rules, as indeed this committee's investigation has so amply pointed out. The EU's obsession with eliminating free speech means they have a global campaign to ensure that all speech online and platforms that allow it are banning illegal content to prevent, quote, systemic risk to the discourse. US companies are therefore transformed into a global censorship police. They must engage in a process of analysing, quote, how platform design, algorithms and content moderation impacts public debate, misinformation and media pluralism. This is what is being forced on American companies today. If they don't comply, then they face possibly endless investigations and crippling fines. There are multiple ongoing investigations into X, including for not allowing illegal content. In Europe, illegal content can mean calling a German politician an idiot or posting, as we know, a Bible verse. So let's be clear, what's happening to X now is that free speech is such a threat to the European elites that they will either cripple X with fines and investigations, break up the company, or force them to bend the knee at the altar of censorship. I hope that they stand strong because we need free speech in Europe now more than ever. I want to commend this committee on its investigation, which shows that US companies are already having to adopt EU standards in relation to their content moderation policies. So it is directly affecting, to answer Congressman Raskin's point, First Amendment rights of Americans today in practice. There are ongoing actions as well under the Digital Markets Act and various other regulations. And I think it's fair to say that it's become a point where the European Union has fines of American companies as a line item in their annual budget. Last year, roughly 3.8 billion euro was levied in fines against US companies. National countries are also trying to get into the act. We saw that the French police raided X's offices in Paris just this week, and the Spanish Prime Minister has announced criminal liability against company owners for so-called hate speech. I have submitted in my written testimony excerpts of the ridiculous hate speech laws that we have to suffer under in Europe. Of course, hate speech has no real meaning other than speech they hate. And what I would say to our American friends is you cannot allow the EU's rules on hate speech to be imposed on the entire digital world via the DSA. Americans know how this goes when this committee in the past has exposed censorship around COVID. Text censorship denudes and eliminates free speech online. The threat is real, and it is with us now. Thank you very much, and I look forward to our discussion.